Alright, as usual, just running a quick audio check. Give me a second, and we will get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Test 1, test 2, mic check. Okay, and I think we're good. If at any time during the stream, guys, you experience any type of, frame rate, video or audio issues on your end, please let me know and I'll try to adjust the stream accordingly. But with that out of the way, I want to welcome one and all of you here live on stream or to the VOD at our YouTube channel at the Overanalyst to our third stream of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, From Software's latest smash. I am really excited to be back with this game, guys. I was waiting all throughout the week for a day where I would have ample time in my schedule to just sit down and play through some more of this, because I really wanted to do it, live on stream, totally blind. So I have been chomping at the bit to get back into this. Now, if you recall, when last we met, we actually made quite a bit of progress. On my last stream, I wanted to say I took down something like 4 or 5 mini-bosses. Maybe they're full bosses. I'm not really sure how it works in this game. It looks like the line is kind of blurred between just slightly tougher encounters with enemies with special health bars and, full-on bosses. But right now, the wolf, our hero, has quite a few options ahead of him. Right now I can think of at least 3 major paths we may want to consider going down in future. For one, we have the fight with Lady Butterfly, the illusionist Kunoichi, who is, I want to say, the final boss of that set of memories we've been playing through, the Memories of the Blind Retainer. And I really want to take her down as soon as possible, because I think if we get rid of her, we earn a memory, which is an item that, just extrapolating from what I've seen in the menus, it's an item that's supposed to be able to, enhance our, standard melee damage pretty considerably. So, I might even start the stream off after doing some quick checkups with our friends in this little area by going and attempting the Lady Butterfly fight once or twice more. And if we have more difficulty, then I'll just go down one of the other 2 paths, which include this weird, headless corpse, animate headless corpse we found tucked, sealed away in a really remote cavern just off of the main path, sort of the critical path we've been traveling along. And I want to stay away from that guy for the time being, because when first I met him, he beat the hell out of me. Something about the field, kind of the yokai corruption, to lift Neo's terminology, prevented me from dodging. I could not get a dodge out. My character was extremely sluggish due to this, oppressive atmosphere in his arena. So I think I'm either going to need a special item or a particular skill to allow me to navigate in that fight, maneuver the way I want to. And then, of course, finally, we have, the critical path through the Ashina outskirts, which seems to be the easiest of the 3, but also the one I kind of want to put off until last, if I can. But that said, that's just kind of what we are faced with right now. Kind of my priorities are taking down Lady Butterfly, making a little bit of progress on the main path, and finding some kind of way to kill the monster. I think he was just called the Headless, that big bulky undead guy. But really quickly we want to talk to the doctor, because if you recall, at the end of stream last time, we were getting some pretty good news concerning her research into a cure for the dragon rot, this really nasty disease that afflicts all the people that we interact with as we continually die. And since I die a lot, it's been affecting a lot of our friends. Oh my god, so when we resurrect, right? Not when we die, actually, but just when we resurrect, we are draining the life essence of our allies. So maybe this is not something we want to do if we can avoid it. Maybe it, like, alters the ending we get? Who knows? Oh, this is interesting. An item that is rarely dropped by a divine heir of the dragon's heritage. Using it will slightly increase resurrective power. Restore the power of life to those who have been drained of it by offering this drop to the sculptor's idol with the recovery charm in hand. In turn, all afflicted with the dragon rot will be healed. The incessant coughing must cease. So, this is kind of like a passive morality choice, I want to say. We can either consume this to maybe gain an extra use of regeneration per life, or maybe just increase the potency of our resurrection somehow, like give us a buff when we come back to life or something like that. Or we can use it to cure all of our friends who've been afflicted with dragon rot. Well, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to use this to cure the sculptor and the old woman, but I'm going to hold off on using this until I can burn down Lady Butterfly. So now I think, since this cures everybody in one use, I can just, like, throw myself into the meat grinder on that fight for as long as I must. And the recovery charm. A dragon rot recovery charm created by Emma. With this charm, one can offer a dragon's blood droplet at a sculptor's idol to restore all afflicted with dragon rot back to health. The charm contains a dragon rot victim's blood, which Emma managed to purify and solidify into a bloodstone. Oh, that is excellent. Does she have anything else to... Okay. Perfect. So we want to keep an eye out for dragon's blood droplets. They are worth their weight in gold. Do we have a gourd seed for her? No, we don't. Okay. Just seeing if she has anything new to say. I don't think so. So, I've also watched a couple other playthroughs just up to the point I'm at. I've not spoiled anything for myself. And I learned about a couple cool little things out in the world that other folks have found that I just kind of glossed over. For instance, Hanbei here, Hanbei the Undying, the combat trainer, actually offers some unique duels if you complete all of his basic training courses. And I'm not sure, but there might be some kind of reward or story progression associated with that, so I'm just gonna knock these out of the park really quickly. So we already did the attack and dodge training, and I want to say the Mikiri counter training as well, so all we need to do now is complete the deflection course, I believe. This is pretty basic, but deflection's probably the aspect of the game's combat I'm worst at, so we'll just see how this goes. There we go. Gotcha. Okay, well, not too bad, but that's what you'd expect from a training duel. I think I prefer my Mikiri counter. It just has a slightly enhanced period of availability. It's available for far more frames than a perfect parry. Yes, okay, so I've unlocked this. I can now duel Hanbei, at a whim. Like, in straight-up actual combat. And as I said, I'm not sure if we get anything for this or not, but I don't think he'll be too tough to cut down, because, I mean, we've already done it many other times. Okay, we got a message. Hold on, let me get over to my stream proper. So to whoever just posted a message in the chat, I'm so sorry, but could you please do so again? I just now got my chat window up, so I would have missed it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take the basic free combat course. Alright. Come on. Come on. Whoop. Gotcha. Oh, hello, Ultimate Brandon. You just posted an emote. Alright, I gotcha. Good to see you, man. Glad you could drop by today. Alright, so that's done and dusted. And we unlocked another free combat core. No? What did we unlock? Oh my goodness. We've unlocked quite a bit of information pertaining to more advanced, maneuvers. Tell you what, just for, the purposes of getting ready for Lady Butterfly, I'm going to run through these if you guys don't mind too terribly much. It probably shouldn't take too long. Consecutive deflections, here we go. Okay, so I can just, like, launch consecutive perfect parries during an enemy's combo. There we go. He's coming at us much faster this time, as you'd expect. Perfect. And I also found out from just seeing what other people had done in the dream world that there is a purpose behind all of those treasure carp scales we found during our last stream. They can be traded to an NPC who is out of the way just near the entrance of that area in exchange for a few, like, unique treasures. So, might want to go see if we can go fishing in the dream world before we take on Lady Butterfly as well. I'm just hoping and praying I get something for all of this. Uh-huh. Yep, so we've already learned all about this. This is basically how I deal with bosses. Burn down their health until their stamina can't regenerate effectively, and then hit them with the death blow. Like so. God, that's beautiful. Come on. Got him. Once more. There we go. Okay. How's everybody doing out there in the audience? Having a good day so far? I just got back in from the gym, so this is technically my decompression time, my cooldown time. Okay, now see, I definitely should have done this before fighting the Shinobi Hunter, because this little lesson would have taught me everything I would have needed to know to avoid maybe 3 or 4 deaths. You're good, Ultimate Brandon, I'm glad, man. Taking the opportunity to rest up on this beautiful Friday afternoon. I'm going to be spending my wonderful weekend doing HR paperwork, so, that's fun. Getting turned up on the weekend. Alright, now sweep attacks. We've had to deal with a few of these. Okay, so, turns out that, second movement I can get out in midair was actually a jump kick. You might remember I was wondering about that in, our first session. So if I jump kick an enemy specifically during a sweep attack, I deal heavy posture damage. This is kind of useful because I believe Lady Butterfly has one of those. And it's her only close range, unblockable attack. Oh, wow! Look at that. But it does, like, nothing to them unless it's executed as part of a counter to a sweep attack. I gotcha. Bring it. Sweep attacks are actually very easy to see coming, not just due to the kanji appearing overhead, but also because every time I've seen an enemy use one, regardless of, like, the enemy's armaments or, like, physical form, they always crouch down and lean to one side. There we go. And we even get a nice and different animation for, like, a jumping death blow. I appreciate that. Alright, so now we've got, advanced free combat. Oh. Whoop. Got them mixed up. Oh, come on. Okay, sorry guys, this is pro-level play here. Come on, bring it. There we go. Twice more. Oh, he was waiting for me that time. Oh, Lord. I would be dead if this were not a training match. There we go. And once more. Oh, no, that was it. Okay. Let's see, we'll go ahead and give thanks. This poor guy, huh? Just knowing the way FromSoft does things, I have a feeling we're going to be able to unlock, like, a final duel with him that will allow us to actually grant him his death, once we've learned everything we need to. Okay, so nothing new from him. Okay, so we didn't get anything save knowledge. Which, as an academic, I am obliged to tell you is the greatest gift of all. Okie dokie then, it's time to go carp fishing in the past, then. Great, so we've got Dragon Rot Restoration. Not going to be popping that quite yet. We were actually going to go all the way back to, the estate path, I think. Now, do you remember that, treasure on the little island I noticed toward the end of the first session, right? I didn't know you could swim in this game at that point, so I didn't know exactly how I was going to maneuver out there. Turns out there's an NPC on that island who will be, offering us treasures in exchange for treasure carp scales. And I think there's a couple treasure carp swimming around that island that we can harvest some scales from. So let's see how much of this I actually remember. Just bandits, no problem there, we got this. Hashtag siphon that loot, there we go. I just love the little, like, loot vacuum animation. It's surprisingly whimsical for a game like this. Like, you see, we just, cut somebody's jugular there, and then we're just going to vacuum all their money up. Brilliant. Come on. There we go. Yeah, these guys pose practically no challenge to us at this point. I've gotten used to dealing with them. Okay, now our destination is right out there, I want to say. But there should also be a treasure carp here, and yep. Got him. Any more? That's 2 or 3 scales we've got so far, somewhere around there. Oh. Was not expecting to find more friends over here. But no matter, more experience for me. Speaking of, we are coming up on 5 experience point or skill points. Those are going to be very useful to us shortly, because I think there were a couple skills I was looking to buy. Rather expensive ones at that. Yeah, the guy, the merchant, should be right over here. Hey there, treasure carp. Oh, treasure carp. Don't do this. We'll just have to get him next time. Yeah, it's this guy. Not entirely sure why he's in a jar, but there he is. Anybody else getting Majora's Mask flashbacks right now? So we've got 4 items that he sells to us. For 1 treasure carp scale, we get a divine grass, which is just like a restorative consumable, I think. The withered red gourd for 2. A special gourd that refills every time we rest, but that only reduces burn buildup and gives us like a buffed resistance to like flame attacks. Not something we need right now, maybe something to come back for later. I'm more interested in these bottom 2. We have a floating passage of text, or the floating passage text, which is just a unique skill that has some great flavor text here, but doesn't exactly explain what it's going to do. I think it gives us like a new combo or something like that. And then we have a mask fragment. And seeing as it's the most expensive item here, it's a fragment of some greater artifact, and it has kind of curiously nebulous flavor text. Something tells me this is going to come in extremely handy at some point in the game, so I really want to save up the requisite 12 scales for these bottom 2 treasures, and I can give or take the others. Well, let's see. What do we have up here? Please be a treasure carp scale. No, just some money. Oh, well. I mean, I'll take that, too. Gotta pay for grad school somehow. Okay, so how exactly do I go fishing for treasure carp? Because they're kind of too far beneath the waves for me here. Maybe I'm to use my shuriken? Or do... Oh, for God's sake, come here. Well, let's see how much damage a shuriken does. Those are fairly expendable. And the answer is none whatsoever. So we're going to have to get a little creative, friends. If I can maybe just get on top of here. No. Come on. Come on. Why was the first treasure carp such a pushover, and these are just kind of irascible? Come on, that's it, treasure carp. You're good. You're good. You're good. No, no! There's gotta be a trick to this that I'm just not seeing. Well, no, that's one. We cornered one. So I'll take what I can get, you know? Is there a way for me to dive in the water? Not that I'm seeing. Well, it's alright. We don't need all of these scales right now, of course. Maybe diving is a skill that needs to be unlocked, or something. Oh well, at least we know where the vendor is. And we got 2 more scales, that's not nothing. But with that done, I think it's time to head on back over to the boss, the Kunoichi, and see exactly how we're going to fare now that we're a little bit stronger than we were last time. If you recall, we actually, earned a prayer necklace that boosted our vitality and stamina. In addition to a skill that slightly increases the restorative potency of our healing gourd and pellets. Now let me just double check. What skills was I looking to get last time? None of those. Oh yeah, the Breath of Life. That's it. This will restore vitality every time we land a death blow, and I'm really looking forward to getting that ASAP. And we've already got one of these, so... Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and get the Shinobi's Karma body upgrade. Which will also give us a few more spirit emblems per rest. By all of 1, it would appear. I assume skills like that will be earned through, like, just game progression in the vein of the restorative skill we learned. And now that we've got a Dragonrot restoration item, kids, we can happily burn as much money and restoration uses as we want on Lady Butterfly. Now, something I noticed, right? If you recall, her kind of gimmick is that in her second phase, she summons an army of little phantom soldiers to attack. These are supposedly illusions and can be dispelled with a snap seed, an item that I don't have because I accidentally wasted the only one they gave me prior to the fight. However, these illusions tend to be, in my experience, extremely weak and all, like, dissipate in 1 or 2 hits. Very, very weak. The trick here, though, is if you don't cut down all of Lady Butterfly's illusions or otherwise eliminate them in time, she will convert them into this, like, massive, kind of like a homing soul mass from Dark Souls. Like this really nasty array of homing projectiles and just throw them at you one after the other. So it's going to be kind of a pain for us, if we're going to be honest. Nothing else in here that I'm missing, right? No. Yeah, so this is going to be a difficult fight, guys, but I know we can do it. And I really, really want that upgrade. So give me just a second here to take a hit of my drink, and we will give this the old college try. Now, based on what I remember from my previous attempts, kind of the go-to strategy for Lady Butterfly is just to be extremely aggressive. Her moveset kind of favors a medium to long range, so if I'm able to close the gap, she's kind of forced to stick to extremely easily clearly telegraphed grapples and a fairly weak set of, like, multi-hit combos. So wish me luck. We are just going to give this our all. Not the best way to start. So kind of her greatest weakness is that, if you notice, she leaves herself open for vitality damage at the conclusion of pretty much all of her major attack patterns. I was quite impressed, though, that for, like, this elderly Kunoichi, who's supposedly an illusionist, they just made her a straight-up brawler. I really like that. I was expecting, like, a mage or something, but oh no. No, no, no. No, 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 no! Oh, yeah, that's, very easily dodged, but you do not want to be hit by that. Oh well, pop in a regen. It's gonna be a little tough for me as I attempt to, like, familiarize myself with her patterns once again, but I think overall, guys, we will have an easier time of this. Almost got her down to the start of the second phase. Yep, phase 2 now. This one's gonna be a little tricky, because this is when the illusions start to come into play. Whoa, I've never seen that attack before. And here come the phantasms. They're like some kind of goblins. Okay, so we can actually use the pillars as cover. That is great. Good night, she's fast. Now you can knock her off of those silk ropes with, I want to say it's shuriken, but it's not really worth it because she leaves herself wide open. We got one more resurrection, guys. I'm not sure if we can get her this try, but we definitely will next go round. Oh, crap. Almost had her, guys. Almost had her. Give me one more run, and I promise you we'll get this. Problem was I burned too many restorative items on, Phase 1, just trying to refamiliarize myself with her general pattern, but I think we got this. I think we got this. Do you think we got this? Alright, round 2. So the good news is it's relatively easy to just wail on her guard endlessly. As long as you don't get caught like that. Whenever she goes airborne around one of these pillars, for some reason my lock-on seems to break. And that is extremely annoying. Oh, crap. Okay, guys, I'm actually just going to reload it. We're going to die here and just come back. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm getting a phone call. I will be right back, okay? I'll be right back with one more run. Hello? Hey? Well, I'm trying to... Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, let's give this one more go. The key to success here, I think, is just going to be having a really great run of the first phase. Easy peasy. Okay. Apologies for not being excessively communicative right now. It's, just more than a little tense here. Trying to get a couple perfect parries in where I feel it's totally safe. Oof. Camera angle just kind of got me on that one, but we are now in phase 2, thankfully. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. There she is. I think she actually did a paltry amount of damage to me by landing on me when she jumped off of the Buddha. Oh, I see what she's doing. She's enchanting her kunai. Oh, wow, just got ganked there. Oh, dear, alright. Going to try to use the pillars for cover as best I'm able. Managed that better than I was expecting to. It's important for me to remember, too, I am relying quite a bit on breaking her stamina, but she doesn't have, like, infinite health, either. A whole hell of a lot, yes, but not infinite health. No! Wow, she got me. Okay, so, again, we're making progress, but this is going to be a slow grind, y'all. Slow grind. Actually, I'm thinking it might be worth it to go kill enough bandits to get the second cast of regeneration back, because with that, I have a feeling that I would definitely be able to take her, like, no problem. So in fact, that's exactly what we're gonna go do. Didn't even see this last time I came through. And lucky me, there's plenty of guards out here to, get some regeneration charge from. Ultimate Brandon says slow. Yes, good lord, it's going to be. I mean, that's just, I can tell you right now, that's going to be, like, kind of par for the course for this entire series. I mean, FromSoft were not playing around when they designed this one, guys. So yeah, this right here has kind of been consistently my weakest, I'll just go ahead and die there. My weakest point consistently in this game is misreading, like, special attacks. Sorry guys, I know I'm not exactly playing, particularly well today. But now I'm thinking, it was taking so long to gain that regen charge, it might be worth it to just, like, attempt to charge the boss again. And in fact, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because I really want that damage upgrade. Hold on, give me just a second, and we will give this one more go. Alright. Here we go. Damn, that's got some range on it. Well, I think that's this run just quashed, don't you think? Oh, I think I just swatted her out of the air. That's nice, I suppose. Hey, Gaming Spanners, good to see you. We are just, well, we are throwing ourselves at a wall. So you have missed absolutely nothing today. If I can nail the counter for those thrust attack or charge attacks, I might also have a much easier time of this. One, two, three. Not entirely sure what the utility of that attack is. Oof. I'm glad to see we got some chat interaction. That's good today, because y'all are gonna need each other while I just torture myself for a couple hours here. So, Spanners, did you see my initial attempts at this fight? Oh, God. My initial attempts at this fight from stream number 2? Okay, so Spanners is not. Okay, so you were in for a treat. This is the boss of the Blind Retainer's memories. I killed Lord Juzo, the Bandit King, no problem. I got him on my second try, nice and straightforward. There was a neat little strategy you could do involving, like, systematically taking out his guards and then recruiting an NPC to help you whittle down his first bar of health. No problem. This was immediately on the other side of him. This is the final boss of this section, and I kinda love the way this fight is designed. It's hard as hell, but I love it. So if you'll notice, compared to like the mini-bosses I fought in the first and second streams, Grandmaster Granny here has a ton of health. She is also, unlike what you'd expect from like an aging Kunoichi, just a straight-up brawler. Oh my god, how am I getting worse at this? Okay, so I'm getting that perfect parry down to no end. So, what I need is bullets. Bullets rock. Yeah, here, actually, I would love to just be able to Indiana Jones this. But, see, Spanners, unfortunately, because I've kind of sucked these last couple runs, you haven't seen the gimmick of this fight. And it's exactly what you'd expect from the folks who made Dark Souls. Oh, unseen aid, that's nice. So the problem I'm noticing here is if she catches you with one attack, you're just gonna eat the entire combo. Is the gimmick rolling? No. See, after you kill her, she resurrects, because what you initially fight there is an illusion, calls in an army of, like, illusionary phantasmal goblins, adds weird little homing projectiles to most of her combos, and can turn said army of phantasms into a great mass of said projectiles if you don't eliminate them fast enough. This is how they're introducing you to their world, and I kinda love it. So shadows really do die twice, huh? Oh, so many more times, dude. So many more times. Oof. So that's what she does if you try to counter her, or block her attacks. Got it. Oh, I need an on-screen counter? No, no, no. I want nobody seeing the proof of my incompetence here, like... So as you see, the issue here isn't so much, that she deals a ton of damage. It's this fight is, for an early game fight, right? For an early game fight, kind of just a straight-up slugfest. She's got a ton of health, a ton of stamina, and you've got to do the whole thing twice. It can be done, though, and I am not giving up. Before we quit the stream today, we will make it through this at least. Been very fond of that attack recently. Oh, hold on, let me try something. I just want to see. Oh, can't try it that time, but... Again? Guys, just for reference, that's an attack I've seen her use like once per fight at most, and it's been 3 times this go-around? Gotcha that time. That was an oddly formulaic pattern, like, settled into using the same attacks over and over again. Got her there. Whew. Oh, she's actually able to block the shuriken after a while. Did not know that. Okay, so we're definitely not going to get it this run, but at least we're getting back to, the second phase. Can we hit her from there? Unfortunately not. Ooh! Yep, second phase. Gobos, here we go. And she somehow killed me by falling on me. Okay. Get one of those Japanese bots to do it? I would love to. I would love to be able to sit back and relax while an AI takes care of this for me and take all the credit, but I'm in grad school. I ain't making that kind of money. So I'm down to, like, no money, no experience, but that's A-okay, because we will get it all back. Not a fan of goblin spanners? Then, man, you're gonna hate this fight. Oh, crap, there it was again. Same attack every time. Oh, crap! So close! Got her! Okay. Round two. If we don't get her this time, which I'm sorry to say we probably won't, we will be damn close at least. Oh, here they come. Whew. Didn't make it, but at the very least we made progress. Whew. Oh, that's a JonTron quote. Oh, not sure I've seen the video that's from. Goblins are no gnomes? Very true. If we're talking, like, classic D&D interpretations, I always prefer, like, the, like, adorable, like, precocious genius of gnomes to the... Well, depending on, like, the specific work you're, like, basing it off of, either, like, remarkable simplicity or ruthless, like, pirate capitalism of goblins. No, if she were summoning gnomes, I would be having a much better time. Almost got it that time. She's got a very diverse... Oh! Every time. A very diverse moveset, and I do appreciate that. Just barely, but we made it out of that. And round two. Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King? No, I've not heard anybody talk about that movie in ages. Not even sure if I ever saw it when I was younger. Which is strange, because as a kid I was a sucker for the Scooby-Doo, like, TV movies. No, no, no! Come on! Every time, guys. Every friggin' time. Bottom of the barrel Scooby-Doo. I'm not sure. Have you heard about the crossover film they did with the WWE? I think that one might just beat it out for, like, worst of the worst. Oh, or no, I think there was also one where, like... I think there might have been two WWE films. One with, like, a ghost wrestler and one with a ghost monster truck driver or something? Like just as redneck as you could imagine, like the concepts would be. Gotcha! Oh, it felt so good to actually counter that, you guys. Not once, but twice. Whoa! Round two already! Well, kids, if we get extremely lucky, I just may be able to pull this out. You know, the prize for this better be worth it. It better be friggin' worth it. Here they come. Oh! Crap. You think there's enough gobos around here? Goodness gracious. Oh, so close. So close. You're gonna get 2 pence and a slap on the cheek for being such a gosh darn rascal. That's exactly what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that the item that I think is at the end of this little, like, mini-dungeon is, in fact, not. This game loves the sound of metal clashing and violins. It really does. From Software in general, though, is a development studio that's really fond of using, like, violins and orchestral music in general for its scores. And I think it actually does a lot to set the atmosphere, right? Of, like, these dark eldritch duels at midnight. Almost there, though. We are getting better, slowly but surely. Oh! Almost. We are now dodging it roughly 1/3 of the time. That's better. See, so the way that works, what I'm doing wrong there is my natural instinct during these, like, little rallies back and forth is to always launch 2 or 3 attacks, and then continue. But as soon as you see that kanji, you got maybe 1 more attack before she just unleashes on you. Couldn't get it off that time. Brilliant. And we've got a second cast of regeneration. Please, God, let this work. Guys, it would be so cool if we got, like, a way to cast her silk ropes, like, to, like, aid mobility. That would be really friggin' cool. And, of course, she gets them off ASAP. And Gobos, I'm fairly certain, just keep spawning in until she launches them. So you can kind of crowd them around as you'd like, but you can't completely get rid of them, I don't believe. Of course she ends her combo with another sweep attack, I think they called him, right? Oh, goodness. Oh, no, you don't! Yes! Guys, that's... Please tell me it's over. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Oh my god! Oh. Oh my... It's over. It's over. It's all over. And we got a trophy, the Phantom Lady Butterfly. Give me a minute. Gonna take the time to catch up on the chat. Gaming Spinner says no OST is as good as the Hong Kong 98 song. Yeah, no, it's not. Actually, no, I would posit that Crazy Bus might just narrowly edge it out. I think I like Crazy Bus just a little bit better. By the way, that is a game that, like, I believe received some kind of government funding, if you're curious. Crazy Bus, the terrible, I want to say Venezuelan or Argentinian, bus driving simulator? Let's see. Oh, the new Yoshi game isn't as, like, musically complex as Woolly World? That's a shame. What is the newest Yoshi game? I've not kept up to date with those at all. It's for the Switch, I would assume, right? I really fried her calamari. Thanks, guys. And Ultimate Bread, it says insert the Flower Garden scream here. Well, thank you both for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in VOD land who happens to be catching this after the fact. You have witnessed history. I could tell you this, whomever you watch for your daily dose of, like, incredibly incompetent gaming, They did a better job of this than I did. But we did it, and it would appear, if you notice, after we finished her, and there was a special, like, contextual finisher for Lady Butterfly. It said, Shinobi Execution, right? And then we got the trophy. So it would appear that most of this game's, like, central bosses will be ninja with tools and, special abilities of their own, so they'll be fought in kind of duels like this. I really enjoy that. I think that is a great, great concept. I think it's a great concept that I now get to move on through the game. I am just... oh my god, I am goddamn stoked about this. Yoshi's Crafted World, it just came out today? Oh wow, it is for the Switch, right? Is this, or is it like a 3DS title? See, I don't have a Wii U, so I never got the opportunity to play Woolly World, even though I really wanted to. At any rate, we're just going to move on. Oh, hold on, I need a drink, guys. I need several drinks. It is for the Switch, nice. I'm probably gonna pick it up at some point then. Who knows, if I ever get my rig set up to properly capture audio through, like, third-party hardware, like a capture card, I might stream that for you guys, because I remember loving Yoshi's Island when I was a kid. Anyhow. Lady Butterfly. The battle memory of an extraordinary foe. You got that shit right. Lingering in the mind of the wolf. Commune with a sculptor's idol and confront memories of battle to permanently increase attack power. The Phantom Lady Butterfly was a seasoned practitioner of illusions. And we got a Sakura droplet. Pale pink crystal residue known to form when an immortal oath fails to establish. Increases resurrective power, allowing one additional resurrection. To repeat the vows of the Undying and be awarded resurrective power once more surely necessitates the aid of a divine child of the dragon's heritage. So we get an extra charge of regeneration, which is great. I hope that's permanent. I hope it's not, like, just a temporary buff. Oh, it looks like we've got some story. Yeah, because the Divine Heir was here. Lady Butterfly had cornered him. Somebody just lost divine favor. What? No. I beat this dungeon. I beat it. It's over. That's the end. I did my job. Heroes die thrice now. Actually, with all of our regeneration charges, I can die up to 4 times now. And believe me, I will. Many, many, many times. 4 times before resetting, that is, of course. So did we, you know, accomplish anything there, other than killing, like, who is implied to be a member of our adoptive family? So we just had the fight of our life against an elderly woman, and now we are being saved from certain death by a small child. You know what? Maybe we're not a good shinobi. Maybe I was wrong about that. Quadrice? Yeah, I guess. Quadrice. We can now sustain up to, like... We can be on our quaternary life now. Okay, so first thing I do... Very first thing I'm gonna do, well, actually, is probably talk to the sculptor. He might have something to tell me about all this mess. Or not, you know, because, he's got the dragon rot, which we're going to cure. Alright, guys, let's heal ourselves and heal our friends. Yeah. Yes, yes, increase attack power. Increase attack power. Yeah, it's one of his teachers. This is cool. We get some more exposition as we upgrade ourselves. I really like that. So the memory has become the remnant of Lady Butterfly, the battle memory of an extraordinary foe. Although distant, recollection of such a memory provided sustenance for the wolf, now past tense. The Phantom Lady Butterfly was appointed by the wolf's foster father as one of his mentors in shinobi techniques. These mentors employed strict methods. The cultivation of shinobi techniques can only be achieved in the midst of battle. Well, I really am kind of at a loss for words now. Ultimate Brandon says he's got an idea. Multiverse theory idea. Skyrim cross Sekiro. Like, okay, I'm interested to hear this. What's your theory? What's your justification? What's the overlap between these two universes? I mean, granted, if I was in the same universe as Skyrim, I would be constantly falling through the floor or T-posing my way along the countryside, or just sometimes not spawning into areas at all. Dragons. Oh, that's right, we do have, like, dragon, the blood of the dragon sustaining us. Okay, we cured our friends of dragon rot. Temporarily. So I'm going to be a little bit more judicious with my use of restoration. Sometimes I'll just take the death instead. Okay, so Gaming Spinners, you say you're just going to carry on with Yoshi. Alright, please enjoy yourself. Let us know in one of our future streams how it was. Give us, like, a comprehensive review if you can once you've completed the game. I'd love to hear what you think. A bottle of Ashina sake given by Emma. Sake is a drink meant for sharing. That it is. While it does not contain water from the fountainhead, it is made from the purest of waters and is a drink beloved by the people of Ashina. Oh, you'll be hanging in chat, alright. You've gotta take care of, like, busy work? Gotcha. Hey, show me the nugget. Yeah, it's going fantastic, man. I'm really enjoying the game. You came in immediately after we put in just around an hour's worth of work taking down the first significant shinobi boss of the game, which was an extremely rewarding experience for me. So you've missed what will probably constitute about 80% of the deaths for the entire playthrough, if I'm lucky. So we are just getting ready to head down a brand new path. We're going to continue along the critical path for now. So we can bring him alcohol, maybe in exchange for some kind of reward. You doubt it? Doubt what, Nugget? I mean, this guy's gotta be Dogen, right? Most of my deaths thing. I'm not sure if you're a bit more familiar with this game than I am. This may be extremely humiliating, but it was, what was her name? I think the Shadow Lady Butterfly, or the Phantom Lady Butterfly. Oh, so this is his prosthetic. I'm so glad to see that we've got, like, a nice little, group in chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, Nugget, you say lots of people, like, the general consensus is she's very difficult. Yeah, and based on what I'm, like, kind of understanding, considering the way the game presents mechanics and rewards that are allocated after fights, she was supposed to be the first, like, primary boss. There's been, like, scads of mini-bosses, but she was the first, like, significant adversary we had to fight, and yeah, you could tell FromSoft made this, and you say you actually found a video where somehow a guy beat it, I assume like live on stream or something, on his first go? That's amazing. He must have been extremely skilled at dodging sweep attacks, like the little ankle slicer maneuvers. Yeah, that might be the hardest time I've had with, like, an early game FromSoft boss since, I want to say, the Bloodstarved Beast in Bloodborne. Now that was a time. Me and my best friend spent like an entire afternoon just trying to burn that one down. So I'll give him the half-finished filthy sake we got from the Bandit Lord 3 years in the past, because we can do that somehow. Yeah, no, Nugget, you say the game is mostly open world, so for the guy you watched, Mr. Bob Jr., she was actually the 4th or 5th boss he tackled. Well, no, it all depends on how you define a boss, right? Because there are other characters, like, say, Juzo the Drunkard, Lord Juzo, who commanded the bosses, or the bandits, I'm sorry, the bandits at the Dragon Spring pilgrimage, who had a unique name, a unique series, or multiple health bars, things like that. But I've also run into enemies like shinobi hunters and samurai generals who also have health bars and seem to be treated as bosses, but have shared movesets between multiple instances of similar mini-bosses, or characters, or things like that. And they offer different, slightly less significant rewards than killing Lady Butterfly did. I also got a special message after she died saying Shinobi executed or something like that. So, I'll put it this way. She was perhaps the first Shinobi boss I've killed or something like that, because I did kill, as I said, samurai generals, a chained ogre, I killed a shinobi hunter, as mentioned, and I killed Lord Juzo. So if we count what I would consider mini-bosses, she was maybe my 6th. So the other guys are sub-bosses, you say? I'm not entirely sure. I would consider them bosses, because they seem to be totally unique enemies with health bars and patterns, even though I've run into 2 of them that seem to share a moveset. But others may not. I've heard others refer to them as mini-bosses. I like referring to them as, like, full-on bosses, but I'm not sure what the intent is there. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling. It's much more complex than how Dark Souls handles it. You say, yes, it is. Have I played the Souls series? Yes, every single one of them. I've completed them, and I adore them all. This might be somewhat heretical, but in the entire Soulsborne canon, my favorite entry, in terms of mechanics and lore, is actually far and away Dark Souls 2, followed very closely by Demon Souls. Which puts me in a very, very small minority among the online community. Okay, so we got quite a bit of backstory there from the sculptor, just explaining about Dogen and the shinobi prosthetics. You say Mr. Bob Jr. never even played a Souls game before, and he didn't even know he could run until 2 hours in, and beat 2 bosses first try. That's impressive. That's really impressive. So he sounds like somebody who might be well worth checking out if any of you guys are looking for other streamers to follow. So really quickly, I'm going to go practice on some Ashigaru and see how much more damage to both vitality and stamina this attack upgrade is going to give me. I just love this flavor text at the bottom of this tooltip. Buddha's storage space is vast. And I could not finish reading it, but... Oh, it's Hell Chicken, my old friend. I actually saw somebody play through this area whose first death in the entire game was getting kicked off of a cliff by Hell Chicken. I lost my mind when I saw that. You've not played Dark Souls 2 yet, Nugget? I'll say this. I think the reason why it was so vilified amongst members of the Dark Souls community is kind of multifaceted. On the one hand, I do believe there's an inherent measure of bias when people found out that the original team, specifically director Miyazaki, would not be producing the game or extensively involved with it, and that probably colored their perceptions of the final product. But it's also kind of the most mechanically different of the Souls series, not counting Bloodborne. And remember, at the time it was released, many people had not played or even really heard of Demon Souls. And so Dark Souls 2 was their second Soulsborne experience. And I think for a lot of people, the feeling they first got when they played a game like that, like certainly for me, the constant fluctuation between frustration and, like, rapture when you are faced with an insurmountable obstacle and finally overcome it, like, for the first time, when you have no idea what's coming, when you have no idea what this game's gonna be like, and it just takes you for a ride. They wanted to experience that again. I think a lot of people kind of wanted their first Dark Souls experience again, but unfortunately you can't ever really experience something for the first time twice. And so a lot of people, again, myself included, when they went into Dark Souls 2, had a pretty intricate understanding of the mechanics and kind of how to succeed when it came to maneuvering through just the basic overworld and its challenges. So they didn't exactly get that same experience, that same rapture, because they knew how to do this. We knew how to do this at that point. And I think missing kind of that particular experience probably had a lot to do with people not feeling quite as favorably about Dark Souls 2 as they did Dark Souls 1. But that's just my theory. Ooh. So see, I've never actually fought one of those guys before. I'm sorry, we'll give that one more try. Nugget says, I'm about half of the way or so in on Dark Souls 3 and about a third of Dark Souls 1. Both great games. I would recommend playing Dark Souls 1 to completion before carrying on with Souls 3, simply because it's very difficult to go back to a slightly clunkier control scheme after experiencing the really remarkably fluid scheme of Dark Souls 3. And you say, I was struggling very, very, very much with Dark Souls 3, so I restarted with Dark Souls 1 and found it much easier, which is also an uncommon opinion, because from what I've heard, most people find Dark Souls 3 the easiest for beginners, or even overall. Yeah, I would actually agree with you. It's, Dark Souls 3 is not the easiest game in the series overall. It might have a slightly gentler start, like I'm talking the very first stages. The Graveyard of Ash, the High Wall of Lothric, then the other entries. But even in the early game, once you get like down to Undead Settlement, things become surprisingly hectic. And Dark Souls 3 is also way more fond of throwing multiple enemies at you to manage at a time than other Souls series entries have been, perhaps with the exception of Bloodborne. And you also say, I think Sekiro is the closest you can get to experiencing Dark Souls again for the first time, as it's quite mechanically different. I agree. And so this has really been kind of a learning experience for me, as the regulars in chat can attest. If I was playing Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, I wouldn't be having quite this much trouble, but I actually think the added challenge is part of the appeal of watching something like this. And the rest of chat say they've never played a Dark Souls game. Really? I'll say this. If you're put off by claims about the difficulty, it's not quite as bad as everybody says it is. This is definitely as bad as everybody's saying. But Dark Souls as a series is way more about, as Jim Sterling has said, and he's just so right, it's actually primarily about preparation, making sure you're properly prepared to face challenges, and then just being able to maneuver through them with a really intelligently constructed character. So we are dealing quite a bit more damage. I'm very glad to see that, especially in regards to, like, stamina damage. There we go. Sekiro is like the Dark Souls of RPGs. Well, actually, at this point, seeing as how this entire setting has been done, I would argue that Sekiro is more like the Neo of Dark Souls. Somebody else actually beat them to this one. Very excited for Neo 2, by the way. I cannot wait for that. Come on now. Don't be shy. Yeah, if you hold down the attack button, I learned, you can actually execute a thrust, which would break most guards. Not Lady Butterflies, of course, but most regular enemies. Show Me the Nugget says, Udix Gundyr took me like 4 hours to beat, and I wanted to cry because I thought, if this is the tutorial boss, how will I ever beat this game? And it depressed me, but I've learned now that failing is literally a part of the game, and it's not failing, it's just learning. As you're supposed to die. Absolutely. This series, much like many endeavors in life, is principally about development, not just outright success or failure, right? I mean, the entire purpose in, like, incorporating challenge into any form of entertainment media, like a leisure product, is so that a participant can enjoy the feeling of finally overcoming it. And oh no, the old woman appears to have passed away. I hope that wasn't due to the dragon rot. You say you haven't played Neo yet? Neo is fantastic if you want a game that allows for even more dexterous, rapid movement than Bloodborne, and incorporates a lot of fantastic characters from Japanese Sengoku Jidai history and traditional mythology. Neo has some of the best bosses to be found in any game like this, and I don't even get a reward. I just get to watch my friends die. That's, people probably complained about Dark Souls 3 being too easy, didn't they? And that's why they're doing all of this to me right now. So, like, you want a reward? You want some cool new weapons, shinobi tools, any of that? Well, sorry, you don't get any of that, but you know what you do get? To be alone! Oh, Jesus. No matter. I'm used to their game by now. I got this. Looks like we've angered the Cannoneer this time, but no big deal. I'm also working my way back through this area, guys, and I apologize if it's a little boring. Principally, Oh, Jesus. get back some of the experience and cash I lost in the fight with Lady Butterfly. And we've got enough skill points now to get that skill that will allow me to regain health with every death blow I land. So I am extremely excited for that. Well, absolutely, Nugget. I hate to hear that you struggle with games of this type, but I find it extremely heartening that you're persevering in trying to conquer them. And believe me, you absolutely can. Because, kind of to elaborate on something I said earlier, so much of like the formula of succeeding in these games is based around preparing yourself before you go into a situation. So, if you've properly kitted yourself out 90% of the time, especially in Dark Souls, you won't have any issues with, like, major bosses. Unless you're playing Dark Souls 1 as a Dex character, like I did, in which case you were just going to run into a few brick walls. And, going off of what Gaming Spanner says, you are in good company. I mean, around here, I struggle with every game, due to just being really, really poor at them, despite playing video games literally since I was 2 years old. This is where we fought the Chained Ogre. Another boss I was able to overcome fairly easily, unlike Lady Butterfly. Oh, so if I break somebody's guard, it looks like it may just, with a thrust, I mean, it looks like that might just be an immediate death blow opportunity. Very nice. Got him! Nugget says, that's what I'm doing. I'm using sword and board, but mostly strength and dex, I think. I used a regular sword for the longest time, then switched to Zweihanda, and the game turned into easy mode. Yeah, Dark Souls 1, unlike Dark Souls 2 and 3, or really any other game in the series, and I would include Demon Souls in that list, tends to kind of disproportionately favor strength builds when it comes to, like, disbursement of equipment, or sort of the importance of certain stats in maneuvering through certain challenges, and you're welcome to contest that. I'm sure many people will. But I feel like that the game is not quite as amicable to dex-focused players and builds as it is to strength-based builds. Or magic builds, for that matter. Specifically, pyromancers and sorcerers. Oh, you're doing, like, some red coin cleanup on, the new Yoshi game, Spanners? Oh, and Nugget, you say I don't know enough about the series to contest anything, but my boyfriend would. He's the one that got me into Souls anyway. To share an experience he loved with you, or to watch you suffer? That would be the first question I would ask. I was introduced to the series by a friend of mine, specifically for the second reason. They wanted to see me get very, very angry. And I did. Oh, I hope this doesn't call in more Dragon Rot. Definitely want to get rid of the Musketeer really quickly. Oof. And get rid of this woman ringing the bell up here. Or Bakemono, or whatever it is. Nugget says he finds it hilarious and endearing watching me do stupid stuff, but he's also super proud and happy when I succeed. Well, of course, I think anybody would be. And I think working together, like, in your spare time to overcome something like this can actually be a wonderful bonding experience for people. And Spanner says they hid a red coin in a well, hard to see, present in the background. Yeah, what I always loved about, like, Yoshi's Island as a kid was they hid the collectibles fairly intelligently. It wasn't as simple, usually, as, say, the dragon coins in Mario World. Now let's see. Oh, please don't tell me I have to kill the Headless. Oh, no. No, 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 kids. Oh, this is not good. Hold on, we're just going to, pop on back to a shrine so I can top everything off. Nugget says, they tried running a spell sword, sword and, pyromancy. Pretty great. In Dark Souls 3, and quickly realized it wasn't gonna work out. That's kind of why I switched to Dark Souls 1 and tried a regular knight, or whatever it's called instead. Sword and board. Absolutely. I would contend that that is probably the best build for you to kind of learn the game's mechanics with, because starting with the knight character class gives you some rock-solid equipment to begin with, and relatively even stats that you can kind of develop as you continue to play and learn exactly what your particular style is, what your preferences are. Okay, so, friends, it appears that I do need to fight the Headless. The Headless, for those of you who caught the VOD or the last stream, is exactly what it sounds like. An animate, sort of bloated, waterlogged-looking corpse that is animate and sitting in the bottom of a cave that has been sealed off by the local clergy. And I attempted to fight it. Its moveset was actually very simple, but the problem is there is this miasma, this kind of fell curse hanging about its lair, that renders me incapable of moving quickly or dodging in said arena. So I'm either going to need some type of special ability, or there's a mechanic I'm just missing. Ultimate Brandon says the only platformers I played are Super Mario Bros. 1 and 3 and New Super Mario Bros. DS. All great choices if you're going to like be immersing yourself in the platformer genre. Let me see off the top of my head if there's anything else I would recommend. If you want something with a beautiful art style that's a little esoteric, you could try getting on the Xbox Live online store or the PlayStation Store for, I want to say PS3, it would be on the PS3 PlayStation Store, and buying Suda51's Black Knight's Sword. It's an adorable little side-scrolling platformer influenced by, like, traditional Grimm fairy tales and their illustrations. And it's quirky, difficult, but very charming. I've also heard that Puppeteer for the PS3 is really quite good as far as modern platformers go, so that might be worth an examination. Just stay away from anything with the Bubsy brand on it, and I think you'll be fine. And Nugget says, I want to make sure you remember who I am, right? It's okay if you don't, but I want to ask. Yeah, of course, of course. I remember all of, like, our friends from the old audience, and I'm just continually so blessed to see that so many of you have stuck around for this transition and during my long period of silence. I'm deeply ingratiated to all you guys for that. And they also say, oh, the Headless is hard. Mr. Bob Jr. gave up on it and moved on. So that bodes really well for my attempt at this. So, but if he moved on, that means there's got to be an alternate path here. Yeah, something I'm... Yes, okay. So we will come back to the Headless. Gaming Spanner says, I want to get Cuphead for Switch, but I'm a bit strapped for cash. Oh, yes, I forgot that Cuphead was getting ported to Switch. I've got to pick that up. Oh, wait, Nugget, you actually know me, in person. No, that is absolutely alright. This is new. I did not know that anybody, oh, Shit. Actually, no, in real life knows me. No, in that case, I'm sorry then. I don't know who you are. I'm terribly sorry. Cuphead is like the Dark Souls of platformers. Cuphead is like the Dark Souls of Fleischer-era cartoons. I've got my real name on Twitter. Yes, yes I do. Someone from school then? From the university? I'm sorry, I probably would be able to, like, puzzle this out immediately if I wasn't multitasking, and I am so sorry. Oh my god! Yes, yes, I know who you are. Okay, so, guys, we've actually got, like, a friend of mine from childhood present in the chat. That is wonderful. I'm so glad you stopped by today. That is, just made my day. Made my day. Been a long time. Yes, it has. Oh, Gaming Spanners, you were heading out. Well, best of luck to you with Yoshi, my friend. So to give me a bit of credit, guys, I don't know why I popped that. Yes, I do know Show Me the Nugget, but they are technically someone from university. Technically. Wait, why am I bothering myself with this? Yeah, we were extremely close friends for roughly 2 years, I want to say? This is so cool. So, just to give everybody some context, when I say I watched, like, another streamer or somebody attempt to navigate certain obstacles so I could learn, 90% of the time that means I watch DSP. Because when I need to strategize, believe it or not, his footage actually helps me quite a bit. Oh, here we go. And there's another idol right down here. Of course there is. Medicinal pellets. Not worth it. Oh, you're turning 21 this weekend. Well, a happy birthday to you in advance. Yeah, I had my 21st a few months ago, and spent it in, like, characteristically maudlin fashion. I don't think I did anything special except go to the gym and extend my workout for like an additional 90 minutes because I love myself. So we now have the Underbridge Valley Shrine to our name. And the question is, where do we go from here? Okay, so we're getting, the screen shaking a bit. This is not good. That typically denotes either the presence of something very large and terrible, or the imminence of a natural disaster, like, say, a avalanche. Not big on that. Show Me the Nugget says, I used that guide, the Skyrim guide, I gifted them back in middle school religiously recently in preparation for Skyrim Together, which still hasn't released yet. Yeah, no, that's been in production for ages, I want to say. My birthday's on a Monday, unfortunately, and I've got college classes, R.I.P. me. Can't get drunk yet, unfortunately, I'll have to wait. Yeah, no, academics always comes first, but, trust me, you can absolutely, manage. I know we're kind of creeping up ever so closely on finals, but I believe in you. You can do this. And I can do that. Yes. Also, this is as good a time as any to celebrate now that I've got someone from the university with me. I was discussing in earlier streams that I was going through all the rigmarole of applying to grad school, and I received notification recently that not only have I been accepted into my program, but I've been granted a graduate assistantship, which... Oh! Jesus Christ! It means I will be an employee, a compensated employee of my department for the duration of my graduate study, which is a phenomenal honor. Unfortunately, I did not avoid death. Finally. So that's new. That's, Jormungandr or something. Now, like, just... Wait, no, that would be, Is this Orochi? Have they thrown Orochi at me this early? Aren't I doing legal or political stuff, or did I change my mind from middle school? No, I actually have a baccalaureate in political science, but just kind of due to some of the wonderful experiences I had with staff and mentors from that department, and my general affinity for the material and methodology, I actually completed a minor in history, and I'm going to be pursuing, hopefully, a PhD in that field. Okay, I see you now. You ain't gonna pull the wool over me twice. I got you. I got you. That's right. That's right. Now we gonna run. We just gonna run as fast as possible. And we gonna hide. I am good at video games. I'm just... You don't see anything. Oh, you see something. I'm out. Whew. I'm gonna have to fight that at some point, aren't I? Big Snake, says Ultimate Brandon. Absolutely. See, in Neo, for instance, that was basically the semi-final boss in, like, the base game. So they are not kidding around throwing something like that at me this early. This is a stealth section, isn't it? Oh dear. This is a stealth section. Okay. Okay. Just calm down. Oh, I've never... Okay. Didn't know that was there. Very fortunate that it was. Oh. You know, Jim Sterling also once opined that games like this, due to the kind of tension and trepidation kind of associated with playing through them successfully, have kind of ended up being far more successful at conveying what survival horror games always intended to than any mainstream survival horror that's come out in recent years, and I'm inclined to agree. Okay. I'm going for it. Oh, I'm going for it. It's like continually retreating, so I feel like that's a good sign. Alright, all those years of playing Sly Cooper are gonna pay off right now. Oh, I can just climb into a palanquin. Tell you what, I'm gonna go collect that little item over by its head, and then probably do exactly that. Now I've got a snap seed. Now I've got 5 of them. That would have been so useful for Lady Butterfly, wouldn't it? I'm resurrecting. Don't care. Don't care. I'm getting in my palanquin and I'm getting out of here. Oh, I thought this would be like Nito's casket in Dark Souls, and I would just be able to get carried off somewhere. Oh, can I... Holy crap! That's awesome! Okay. Okay, Sekiro, I see what you're doing. I took damage from its death throw. What is it doing? Goodness! Okay, so it's still not dead, it's just kind of having a tough time right now. Orochi, it's okay. People care about you. Oh! Wow. So close. So close. Nugget says, she watches a streamer who's also a licensed therapist, and he said that video games in general can be incredibly healthy for you because they help with distress tolerance. Yeah, that is pretty neat. You know, obviously, like, when we were kids, the old rejoinder to video games do absolutely nothing for you was, oh, they improve hand-eye coordination, and I'm living proof that's not the case. But yeah, I do think they can be a great deal of assistance in managing, like, psychological stressors in certain instances. So, no, that's very cool. I also love seeing that the streaming community attracts individuals from so many disparate professions, too. Got it. It's okay. I'll just take the pain that time. So, I'm curious, what do you guys think? Is there going to be an actual boss battle with this thing, or is it just a glorified environmental hazard? I have to tell you, this is a beautifully crafted little set piece. Does a phenomenal job of, like, creating tension and killing the player. There's also a path over here, maybe it looks like? Yes? No? No? No. You know, this has been a pretty good, like, last 12 months for giant snakes in gaming. Of course, we had God of War, PS4, just phenomenal game, had a giant snake. Okay, cheese it. Okay. Did we make it? I think we made it. Of course we didn't. Please tell me it's gone. Okay. Okay. So it was no lady... Look at the wolf! My god, he is not doing alright. Maybe the dogs and chickens just called in some backup after I've been disrespecting them so thoroughly in this playthrough. I think I can call that one a victory. It retreated intelligently, for it fears my prowess in combat. And that's the story I'm sticking to. Alright, more messages. Ultimate Brandon says, if I was that snake, I would have the same reaction. Yeah, no, we just ruined his day. And Nugget says, the streamer that you previously mentioned is named Dr. McLive. You might want to check his stream out, if it's something that interests you. And he can't do therapy for people while streaming, of course, but he does do almost lectures while he streams, where he answers everyone's questions about mental health and therapy, and how video games help with maintenance of mental health. That's really interesting. I'll have to check him out myself in my free time. Everyone whom they've watched tackle Orochi is just run through, and it worked, apparently. So, true to form, I'm just overanalyzing the situation, and it did not work out in my favor. So now we're at Ashina Castle, which... is this a different environment? No, it is not. I'm really interested to know, like, how far into this game I actually am, because as you see here at the top of the travel menu, there's this sub-menu for quote-unquote important places, and currently only the dilapidated temple is listed there. I assume more locations are going to be added to this as we progress, but, if we've not unlocked any yet, that would infer that we're still pretty early on, which is a good thing for me. I love this game, and don't want my time with it to end. Okay, so let's assess the situation. We've got plenty of guards. I see at least 2 rifles, and... oh. We can eavesdrop. Alright, so I do appreciate that you can eavesdrop at certain points to get, like, flavor text and exposition regarding, like, the bosses you're going to be fighting. Like, for instance, I now know that Lord Gyobu is probably going to be the boss of the Ashina outskirts, like the proper boss. And Nugget says, don't worry, I always overthink these things too. Yeah, that's, at least on the internet, that's actually my shtick, is, overthinking everything. And she says, oftentimes, the times I look for the most stupid are the times I've sat for 30 minutes trying to think through a problem when the solution is right in front of me. Sometimes even with a tooltip. Yeah, that happens for me too, especially anytime it concerns technology. As longtime viewers may be aware, I am notoriously bad with technology. It took me the better part of 3 days to learn how to use PowerPoint, and I still hate it. And would prefer to submit everything, like, in writing, but... you think I can eavesdrop almost any mob in the game? No, it's enemies at specific points. Early on, like in the intro, just about every group of enemies can be eavesdropped on for a little bit of exposition, but here, at least, it's only specific groups, typically near the entrance of areas, to give you a bit of an idea what's actually going on in that locale. Alright, now we are just going to, as the children say, lame this out and try to get as many stealth kills as possible here. Oh god. It looks like the big guy has somebody slung over his shoulder. Okay, so we've got to be... and he's wailing. Poor guy. Now we really want to get the big guy here. Oh. Gotcha! Mikiri counter. Love it, love it, love it. Nugget says, I'm a god with PowerPoint, but Excel makes me want to die. Okay, so I might actually have some contract work for you as I carry on throughout my academic career, because if I have to put together one more, like, quote-unquote, professional multimedia presentation, I think I'm going to lose my mind. I am actually getting the timing on those perfect parries down, somehow. Oh, this appears to be what remains of the garrison, following the... I think it was technically an insurrection by the gentleman who separated us from our left arm. Now what's this over here? I also see some kind of glowing... red objects? Oh, remnants, more ghosts. Yes, so that's our villain there, for the uninitiated, on the left. Ultimate Brandon says Ghostbusters. Not yet. Apparently I'm going to be able to fight real, like, true spectral enemies, not phantasms or illusions or anything, because I've got items that are going to aid me in that, but I've not seen many ghosts, or really many supernatural enemies at all so far. I assume in standard FromSoft style they're going to, like, increase in prominence as the story drags on. My favorite execution of that particular trope by the studio, mind you, was when they did it, how they did it in Bloodborne. And I'm not exactly going to spoil how it was done for anybody out there who's not played Bloodborne, but I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised once you reach around the halfway point on that game. Nugget says, my boyfriend's sitting next to me and he shouted out Bloodborne right before you said it. Yes, typically when anybody thinks about, like, world state changes in association with FromSoft, at least anymore, Bloodborne is the first thing that comes to mind. I'll put it this way. The game appears to initially be set in one of my favorite genres, or the story at least. That of supernatural Victorian horror. As it happens, that's not the game's true setting at all, and the genre changes entirely at the midpoint to something just infinitely cooler, and my absolute favorite genre, or subgenre of horror at least, of all time. So I take it I'm not just going to be able to walk in. Yeah. We're going to have to cross this battlefield. I love the little, like, grapple cord we have here. Whee! See, nobody ever thinks about the aftermath of a Dynasty Warriors battle. But, cleanup is not fun for anybody involved. Nuggets, oh no. Whoa, 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 dude. Wasn't expecting you already. Take it easy. Oh! That actually had pretty decent tracking on it, guys. Oh, I think I could have grappled him there, actually. Well, so far this guy isn't too bad. Got him! Okay. Okay, yeah, so I assume he's going to be forced... Oh no, I didn't kill Onikage. I thought I would have dismounted him. Oh, I like this guy. Not too bad, I don't think. Oh, don't want to land right in the fire. Wait a minute, because he's got a horse, maybe I can frighten it with some fire. Just an idea. Nope, afraid not. Okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Onikage's getting some air, though. Okay, sir. That's you done. Oh, so he was like a primary boss, too. I got a secondary death blow animation. Oh, and the horse was trying to protect him. Yobu Masataka Oniwa. So he was a shinobi, technically. Wow. Maybe I was supposed to fight him before Lady Butterfly. I was not expecting the next major boss, A, to come so soon, or B, to be so straightforward. I mean, I wasn't particularly dexterous, but I just kind of tanked it out. Okay, checking chat. Nugget says, I haven't played Bloodborne yet, but I wanna, who knows, maybe I'll end up liking it the best of the Soulsborne series. Loads of people do. Quite a few people say the streamlined, more straightforward, base gameplay experience Bloodborne offers, coupled with the phenomenal setting and, like, encounter design, makes it their favorite, far and away. Do you watch any kind of anime? I can't remember if you're into that or not. Sporadically. Now, I principally tend to stick towards, like, TV dramas. I absolutely love DC's run of live-action shows. But a guilty pleasure of mine tends to be really, really camp shonen anime. Just anything that's ridiculously over the top. I have a special place in my heart for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, not because I followed the story or anything like that, not at all. I've never even seen but one full episode of the show, simply because the current season's end credits theme, inexplicably for an action show, is Jodeci's Freakin' You, one of the best songs of the 90s. So, kudos where it's due. Brandon says the only anime I watched was like Pokemon, Bakugan, and Beyblade. Yeah, I watched some of each when I was younger, especially like the Pokemon show, but I've not seen any of those in ages. And Nugget says, this is one of the bosses that streamer beat first try. Good job. Thank you very much. Thank you for the congratulations. I appreciate that. Usually you fight him before Lady Butterfly, or you're supposed to. So we're sequence breaking today. I'm so proud of myself. Oh no no no! Don't apologize for like commenting frequently in chat. I love this. I love having an audience to actually interact with. My first couple of streams, everything was dead as a doornail, so your presence is really really welcome. So we got the memory, Gyobu Oniwa, the battle memory of an extraordinary foe lingering in the mind of the wolf. Commune with a sculptor's idol and confront Gyobu Masataka Oniwa was keeper of the Ashina Castle Gate. And I got the mechanical barrel, so I've got a gun now. A mechanical metal barrel that can be given to the sculptor to enable prosthetic tool upgrades. It appears to have been made to fit perfectly inside the wrist bone of the shinobi prosthetic. A reinforced core is sure to make a shinobi's fangs even sharper. Oh wait, no, I can upgrade the tools I already have. Okay, okay. Definitely want to do that then for the axe, if nothing else. And Nugget says, it was the same way for me when I started streaming. I was talking to myself and, like, one person for the first few weeks. It was awful. I did not know you were an active streamer. In that case, to anybody who might be watching this, VOD or live, please go check out Show Me the Nuggets channel and streams if that's something you might be into. I make it a point to support small streamers that I can, especially when they're personal friends. Ultimate Brandon says, the Beyblade incarnation I watched as a kid was pretty good looking back on it. Yeah, I always remember Beyblade being better, in my mind's eye at least, than the premise should ever have, like, reasonably allowed. Oh, it's my pleasure, Nugget. It's the least I can do, really. Okay, is there any loot around here, or was this just a great big empty battlefield? So Oniwa is not exactly what I have in mind when I think shinobi. So much as massive, like, Sengoku era, like, general, like Takeda cavalry general. Oh. Who is this? Was this somebody I was supposed to talk to at some point? I don't think so. No. This is new. Oh. Who's this? A merchant? Of course it's a merchant. Well, a few minutes ago we had blood on literally everything following the Orochi encounter, so he's not wrong. So this is one of the memorial mobs. Oh, they sell extremely useful items. Anything new? Yeah, we've got gourd seeds, Robert's firecrackers. I don't think we need any of those. Hold on a minute. Are you guys seeing the problem here? I've never seen this in a Souls game before. I can buy money. I assume, like, the pouches themselves have some kind of alternate use, like maybe for upgrades or the like down the road. But this in and of itself is quite amusing to me. Nugget says, I would very highly recommend the anime Dororo. It's a remake of an old anime from the 60s, wow, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time. The reason I love it is because it's one of the most historically accurate representations of the Sengoku Jidai period of Japanese history. It's a seinen anime, and is a very mature and respectful story. Excellent. I'm definitely going to look into that then. It'll be a nice reprieve from, like, turning on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX or what have you whenever I just want to laugh my head off for 30 minutes. I have an emotional connection to the show because it's one of the only things lately. Wow. A major theme of the show is what it means to be human and to experience the world around you through your senses, as the main character is regaining his senses and body parts one at a time through killing demons. It's legit. I've heard of this, actually. Yeah, years ago in high school, I watched a Let's Play of a game based on it, and it looked extremely legit. So yes, on your recommendation, I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Now, since I'm here and they are selling a gourd seed, I think it might behoove us to burn a bunch of coin purses. All of them, actually. And we are 35 gold short of a gourd seed. We can correct this rather quickly. And one moment, sorry, I just want to double check that I did not miss another pathway here. I know there's no treasure to be found that I can see, but there wasn't anything over here that can be accessed right now, was there? Oh yes, there was. This is actually where we're supposed to go. Our next idol. There's only 12 episodes of Dororo out right now, and they're free on Amazon Prime. That is fantastic, because I actually purchased a Prime membership a couple months ago so I could actually watch Doctor Who again. It's been years, and I have just needed that in my life as of late. So it looked like there was a bit more in this kind of ravaged keep beyond the battlefield mob. Okay, this is a friendly. Alright. It's a Tengu. Oh, I appear to have just thrown myself into another fight. I get the feeling this guy's going to be very unpleasant. Oh, or he's not going to fight me. Name drop. Now, I'm not exactly the best judge of, like, inflection of, like, foreign language speakers, but based on everything I'm hearing, I would wager to say the voice acting is actually pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah, sure, I'll help this murderous lunatic for now. Rat description. A description of the rats that have snuck into Ashina. Speak to the Tengu again once the rats are dealt with. The rats. Assassins from Senpo Temple, short stature and wear bamboo hats. A number of rats are lurking about, last seen around Ashina Castle Gate. Oh, and Nugget says about Dororo, it's so bloody good. I've cried multiple times, not because awe the feels, like the cliche response, but because it's fulfilled a part of my soul somehow, and it's made it seem less empty spiritually, if that makes sense at all. No, it does, actually. I am a firm believer in the healing power of media and entertainment. And, in fact, my initial involvement with, like, broadcast or anything like that came about, by and large, as a part of that for me. I went through a really, really difficult time emotionally between my sophomore year, which was actually the last year of high school, I formally began and completed, as after that I was able to begin university. And I can't really quantify the difference that sitting back and watching riff shows on YouTube, or a really well put together drama, or some kind of escapist fantasy was able to help me through that difficult time. And I mean, I'm not entirely sure if this could do the same for somebody, but if it can, I would be honored to be able to do that for others out there in the world. Valancola says, "Ooh, murderous lunatic, my favorite." So I'm not sure if we're going to have to turn on the Tengu at some point or not. Odd. And this will give us a shortcut. Very nice. Oh yes, Nugget, Breaking Bad is a wonderful show. Extremely dark, but beautifully shot, beautifully performed. I loved it. I loved its cast, too. Like, Bryan Cranston, Kristen Ritter. They got a lot of fantastic actors to play, even like the bit parts. Loved it. Fallen Colas. I'm sorry. Not an expert of pronunciation, necessarily. So yes, please, if I ever get anybody's name wrong or anything like that, please let me know, and I will adjust myself accordingly. So it looks like there's nothing more to be done over there, but there is something to be done just up ahead, as I have a nice new memory to burn in exchange for ever-increased power. And now we get the Remnant. Kyobu Oniwa once led a group of infamous bandits, but was defeated by Ishin, who was so captivated by his show of strength that he took him in as an Ashina warrior. Oniwa would later go on to become Jinichiro Ashina's most trusted retainer. So we've already taken out the dragon this early on. That is great news. So right now, guys, this seems like a pretty natural time to take a break, so I'm going to go, get myself a new drink and the like, and I will be back probably in about 5 minutes, alright? So please just sit tight, and we'll be back with maybe another 30 minutes to an hour of gameplay, depending on how my schedule runs. So don't touch that dial, we'll be back. Val and Colas, they are just not giving you a break, are they? We are back, ladies and gentlemen, right back in. And, I think there was a suggestion to raid the apartment, while I'm gone. Wouldn't work, because I am unfortunately not, I have not relocated quite yet. I'm still in, like, my family home, and will be probably for about another 2 months. But I appreciate the sentiment. I will let you guys continue to argue over the finer points of pronunciation as we carry on. Maybe we can get 1 or 2 more, like, mini-bosses out of the way on today's stream. Yes, Nugget could actually come raid my home. We're actually going to pop on back to the temple just for a minute to drop off the Shinobi Prosthetics barrel and see if there's anything we can upgrade. Okay, I love this. I love actually getting to relive, like, really happy memories from childhood. No. A bit of context for the comment you just saw. Nugget said, sorry for spilling Frosty in your dad's car, by the way. My father, for my entire life, works in a very articulate and professional field, and as a result, he always carries a significant amount of extremely fragile equipment with him, and kind of as a result of working in such an environment for upwards of 50 years now, he is extremely fastidious about cleanliness and, like, sort of the sacrosanctity of his spaces. And yes, when we were kids, Nugget did spill a Wendy's Frosty in the floorboard of my dad's car, which he dealt with incredibly well, I must say, for him. Nowadays, I would say I'm more particular about my car than Dad is. Fastidious, yes, it is my word of the day. Wait, Valenkolas, you are, you're local as well? Okay, so I can upgrade my tools. Oh! Heavens alive, there's a lot of options for upgrades. And I can switch between, like, older versions and improved ones. That's great. So it looks like there's quite a few totally unique tools we have to unlock, but I'm seeing a lot of variations on the shuriken launcher, and just as many on the axe, and it looks like we've got 2 upgrades for the flame barrel. I'm really interested to see what we can actually unlock here. We've got an upgrade to the spring-load flame vent, which, oh, so you can, like, charge it. Oh, Val is Nugget's boyfriend. Okay, I've got that now. Well, welcome to the stream then, sir. I'm glad to have you. I can unlock spinning shuriken, empowered with rotational energy, sure. So all of these, I think, are just charged attacks for our principal shinobi tools. Once we get a bit more upgrade material, we will hopefully be able to come back here and upgrade, at the very least, the axe and the shuriken. Oh, Valenkolas, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. And Ultimate Brandon says, just noticed one of his friends is playing Dark Souls. TM. Yeah, it's an extremely popular game. Well, games like this, including the Souls-likes, Neo, Lords of the Fallen, The Surge, are extremely popular on platforms like this, and it's not hard to see why. They offer a lot of often unintentional entertainment as your streamer struggles with actual progress, and the relatively slow pace of progression leaves ample opportunities for, like, audience interaction. Gotta love that rotational energy trademark. Yeah, my question is, like it's a shuriken launcher fitted to his arm, so aren't the shuriken already launched with some measure of rotational force? It said, like, apparently I'm able to execute a stronger attack by overclocking the mechanism, but so the shuriken are operating on the principles of pinball, is what I'm getting out of this. Which, you know, fine. Couldn't he just throw it? Yeah, well, I think that's what he does, actually. He either swings his arm. In fact, let's test this right now. How do we... Yeah, no, the shuriken launcher, like, springs a projectile forward into his hand, like his prosthetic hand, and then he throws it normally. So yeah, I guess if you apply more force, he just launches it directly from the gauntlet. Genji from Overwatch. Okay, so I'm about to confess a, like, really heinous sin to you guys, but I am barely familiar with Overwatch. I've, like, seen a friend of mine play it once. I think I know the character you're talking about, and if so, yeah, basically, that's what we're dealing with here. I neither hate nor love Overwatch. I'm actually fairly ambivalent about it. I think it's got a really cute art style and a really varied-looking cast of characters. I just kind of wish there was some kind of single-player mode or some way that PvE, like co-op PvE or something, that they could use to actually build and expand on the world they've created. I think that would do gangbusters. But we live in the era of always online live services, so probably not getting that anytime soon. There we go. Oh, see more doggos. So these guys are kind of a non-entity at this point. Everyone wishes Overwatch was PvE or single-player. Hopefully they'll add a mode soon. Well, not everybody, apparently, because there is a little-known game, totally forgotten, called Battleborn, produced by Gearbox Softworks, the same production studio that brought you the Borderlands series, which I absolutely adore. And it included a PvE mode, and it was like one of these kind of shooter MOBA type things. And it had the ill fortune to release, I want to say, either in the same week or the week immediately before Overwatch. And so it just died before it could live. Absolutely tragic. Hold on, I'll catch up on chat here in just a second. Fallon Colas says, yep, I know Battleborn. Borderlands 3 drops soon. Yeah, I saw it was formally announced soon. And I'm really excited. I've still got to play the pre-sequel. And he also says it could be that he just spins it up on his wrist with a ripcord or some such device, and then has a latch or release that he pulls when he flicks his arm forward. I think it's something like that. I want to say it operates on the same basic logic as, say, the Hidden Blade. Well, I adore Battleborn for the sole reason that one of your starting heroes, one of the first champions you have unlocked, is a robotic butler with a dress cane that doubles as a sniper rifle and, like, a Samus Aran-style energy pistol. we've got a big boy. Just gotta get to him. And he had a friend. Who is none too pleased with me, I would wager. Oof. Good news is unarmed strikes from enemies in this game, whether they're bosses, mini-bosses, what have you, don't seem to deal much damage at all. Got him. Do you remember how obsessed I was with Spyro? I still am. Have you played Reignited? I have not, actually. See, I never had the opportunity to play any of the original Spyro trilogy produced by Insomniac that everybody praises so highly. But I really want to. I want to get the remastered trilogy for Spyro and the remastered trilogy for Crash Bandicoot, a beloved series from my childhood that unfortunately was killed off through some very questionable design decisions, just kind of like Spyro's original run. Overwatch is just Team Fortress 2, says Ultimate Brandon. Basically, it's the same general concept with a broader and, I would say, more pleasingly presented cast of characters. Now, was there something I could climb out here? I thought I saw something from out there. I could just be losing my mind, though. Let's see what we got. Nope! We got treasure. And it's just more sugar. Pointless. I don't think I've used one of the sugar items yet. I generally don't like temporary buffs in games like this. I'd much rather improve my baseline build. Whoa, now what's in here? Anything? Just a vantage point, it would appear. Sugar is a lot like the beast pellets from Bloodborne? Okay. I don't believe I ever used those, either. The only game like this that I consistently used or even like combat consumables for any length of time was Neo. There was an item in that game called the Yokai Water Pot that, when thrown at any enemy, even like demons, which are typically immune to like most status or stamina-draining items or moves, would greatly decrease their stamina and leave them wide open for counterattacks or critical attacks, usually. And it was a real lifesaver on any mission where you had to, say, duel a historical personage from the Sengoku Jidai one-on-one. Nugget says, I've got to play the Spyro Reignited trilogy. Been streaming basically nothing but Spyro on her channel. So again, if anybody out there is interested in the Spyro trilogy, I know those remasters have been doing gangbusters on Twitch. Go check out her channel. And she did play Dishonored as well. I loved the first Dishonored. I've not had the good fortune to play the second yet, but I think it was a really, really interesting world that they created, and a somewhat daring deviation from the norm for Bethesda. Like, I know they just published it, I believe, but still. Like Lloyd's Talismans, but for stamina drain? Basically. The only downside was, at the point of impact, a small radius of yokai corruption would be created, which also impedes your own stamina regeneration while you're in that area. Now, it can be very easily dispelled by executing a certain maneuver at the end of a combo, but it still has that kind of detriment so that players won't just spam them. Not that it ever stopped me. Oh, Mikari counter, I love you. Never again will an enemy with a polearm give me the slightest bit of difficulty. Oh, and we're in Ashina Castle proper now. Now, I am a little bit concerned because those guards said something about having some kind of uncontrollable beast or abomination waiting in the wings for use as a weapon of war. And I'm curious, is that going to be like another ogre? Or one of the other red-eyed abominations? Or what are we dealing with? Oh, Nugget has a complete archive of every stream over on her channel, so excellent. I'm going to be checking out your backlog over this weekend. And, oh! This is new. This is new. I also love how they charge straight for me. I mean, I know they've technically tamed this thing, but I don't think it's, like, discriminating between friend or foe here. Oh, okay, what is this thing? Well, they're dead. Because it just wouldn't be a From Software game without some kind of porcine terror running about. Come on, big guy. So I think I just might have to drain this one's health. I mean, its stamina isn't going anywhere. Oof. Maybe I should have jumped that. Definitely should have jumped that. Ouch. Oof. So this fight will probably be what closes our stream out for the day. I feel like this would be a great note to end on. Oh dear. That's handy, gotta love unceremonious goon death. Yes, you do. I'm really thankful when games like this implement friendly fire, so that I don't have to deal with a bunch of mooks. This is the one that took your friend like 1.5 hours to beat. Oh god. That does not bode well. Now, good news. Good news. It only has 1 health bar, and I don't think this one's a master illusionist like Lady Butterfly, so... I lost my gourd money! Oh... That is a proper shame. That gourd could have saved my life just then. Imagine if Capra Demon could beat his own dogs in Dark Souls 1. Oh my god, that would be amazing. Because, as just about anybody would say, I believe the general consensus has been reached on this, the Capra Demon itself is not a very difficult boss, despite its reputation. It's the presence of 2 dogs who, unlike the dogs in, say, Sekiro, are extremely aggressive, who never stop attacking or moving. The Black Hat Badger? I'm kind of loving these backstories we're getting for our enemies. Oh, these are the rats. They're looters. Okay. Oh, it's the little monsters from the prologue, the Bakemono. Well, I know how to deal with you, good sir. Oh, God. Shatter their hat with the axe and then move in for the kill. Yeah, these guys are Bakemono. Okay. Down. Down, boy. One of the most fulfilling parts of this, your general FromSoft experience, is the sensation one gets after a while that you're actually learning. Like, improving, not just in terms of your character's capabilities, but, in terms of your own, as, like, the individual having to pull off all these maneuvers. I mean, yes, it helps that I have more health and attack power and the like, but that's not worth a bag of beans if I can't actually effectively dodge and get attacks out. Oh, I'm gonna get me a shield umbrella. I really wish that was actually in the game. Well, who knows, for all I know it might be. But... oh, hold on. Just sort of checking the chat backlog here. You beat Capra Demon first try. That's really good, actually. I want to say it took me 2 or 3, maybe, just to get, like, the gimmick down. Capri Sun Demon is easy peasy. The doggos are the hardest part of the fight. They'll eat your stamina for breakfast and shield break you so that Capri can get that sweet, sweet counter damage. Yeah, it's really a fight that is intended, I believe, to teach the player about, like, crowd control. Speaking of... I believe a strategic retreat is in my best interests for now. Because after all, why fight hard when you can fight smart? Or we could just run. I'm kind of in favor of just running at this point. Thank you for the health regen, sir. Oh, and you got Capra Demon on almost your first try, Nugget. That's pretty amazing. I remember it took me quite a few on that one. I started to have a much easier time of most of the bosses immediately after that, with the exception of a certain late-game boss that is actually multiple bosses, not the one you're thinking of when you think of Dark Souls and difficult bosses, that was just not made for, like, a very lithe, light damage dex build. Anybody else getting kind of a Shadow of the Colossus vibe right now? You know, in the Punic Wars, the series of conflicts between the Roman Empire and the extremely prosperous city-state of Carthage, Roman generals frequently would cover pigs in, like, straw and pitch, light them on fire, and send them towards Carthaginian lines to disrupt the movements of war elephants. So, I guess this has a historical analog? Okay, so we're able to make a dent in its health, if not its stamina. Amazingly, I can actually block some of its attacks. I was not expecting that. Hey, there we go. And job's a good one. And we've got another prayer bead. Beautiful. And Shinobi Medicine rank 2, further increasing the potency of our healing items. I'm really gonna need that. Oh, the stray demon bastard, says Valancolas. Yes, tell me about it. My first playthrough of Dark Souls, I did not even fight the stray demon. I couldn't be bothered. The game looks so pretty. Yeah, it really does. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not playing on a PS4 Pro or even a television that's all that new. So I promise you this looks 1,000 times better with a professional setup. The stab wasn't worth it, in your opinion? I agree. I need something a little bit more epic, like maybe mounting its head a la, like, the ancient wyvern from Dark Souls 3 and just impaling it while it still thrashes around. That would feel suitably epic after what I've gone through. Nugget says she just beat Quelaag. Then you have made it through the worst part of the game. You've actually got nothing but fun times ahead, in my humble opinion. And Farron Keep was the area that made you quit Dark Souls 3. I gave up after dying to crap that 100% wasn't my fault for the 1,000th time. Yeah, general advice for, like, Farron Keep, based on my experiences there, as counterintuitive as this sounds, combat is not your friend in that area. The Gru are extremely irritating opponents, and the Elder Gru, at least for your first time through the area, should be avoided altogether. Those are the giant goat men that attack with trees. 1 second, just someone to talk to, really quick. So there's a holy person in the Senpo Temple on the nearby mountain. If I know anything about FromSoft writing, that means I'm going to be fighting that holy person at some point. Really excited for that. I love mage bosses in these games, and I have a feeling that's exactly what we're in for. She's mad at the goat men that jump on your head via unblockable grab attack. Yeah, those are the, I forget the exact adjective they use, but it's something to the effect of the mad, or the degenerated, or the degenerate Gru. The goatmen are the ones I hate the most. Yeah, like, how am I supposed to win against something that's unblockable and that you can't roll out of because it's an insta-kill? Dumb. I'm okay with things that require skill and timing, but the goats and poison frogs are just unfair and mean. Yes. The poison frogs are actually the Dark Souls universe's basilisks. And they're a pain, but as long as you're able to maneuver effectively around like a large horde of them and pick at them, like from the outside, if you've got ranged weapons, anything like that, or if you're just able to pick off the outermost basilisk in the pack, you can work your way through them pretty carefully. Yeah, we just reached 300 chat messages in one broadcast. That's amazing. Thank you guys so much. And just to go back to the Dark Souls 3 discussion really quick, it's not just those particular Gru that are a pain either, because in addition to the Elder Gru, the big ones with the trees, that attack using Martyr Ligarius's homing like red souls from Bloodborne, and the smaller Gru that attack with poison or toxin, I forget which, and can leap on your head and do all sorts of assorted nasties. A bit later in the game, and not much farther from where you are currently, Nugget, you will encounter a third type of Gru, kind of like the mature Gru or something like that. They're mages, and they're awful. They're extremely powerful physical combatants who can spawn an effectively endless number of flame turrets, essentially. And you have to get through quite a few of them if you want to acquire some of the best loot in the entire game. I always just ran past the huge goats in the trees, but I was unable to run past the leaping ones. Yeah, my issue was probably that I've picked Spell Sword, like I mentioned earlier. One of the frustrating things about the charging Gru was the fact that I always found them extremely difficult to get backstabs on. Like, I could attack them from the back, but for some reason the game just wasn't lining my character up with their hitbox properly. Yes, that particular area, Valancolis, one of the most blatant instances of the designer's endless pandering to diehard fans of the original Dark Souls who really hated Dark Souls 2 by throwing endless amounts of references at you. Nugget says, I can't time well enough to parry is my issue with playing Dark Souls. That's what I'm trying to get better with. I never could parry. I learned how to parry for one fight, one very particular fight in the entire series that's almost designed in a way so as to be dependent upon it. Not entirely, but it's made much easier if you can. And I never used that skill again for the remainder of my time with the series. I would much rather just simply not be there when an attack comes out, and typically be either running for the hills or around my enemy's flanks. That was just Reference City, says Valancolis. Yeah, that was actually probably my biggest issue with Dark Souls 3, as a player, as somebody who loves to focus on lore and world building in any, medium I interact with. It felt too reiterative, whereas Dark Souls 2 tried to do something really fascinating with the lore and the extant setting as it was. I liked the idea in that game that you were supposedly playing through the same world so far into the future that the exploits of the Unkindled in the first game, or the Chosen Undead, whatever they were referred to in the first game, are kind of shrouded in myth, much as the stories of, say, Lord Gwyn and Allfather Lloyd and the world they inhabited were at the time of Dark Souls 1. I really liked seeing that. And then seeing Dark Souls 3, which supposedly takes place even later, come right back around to say, no, it's all just still right here, same characters, same locations, all that. I guess you just weren't navigating through these areas. Final boss is Chumpy with parries. Yes, that was the exact fight I learned to parry for. Specifically, I recall it was the third hit of his, 5-hit combo that I learned to parry, effortlessly. I would just tank the first 2 hits, and then parry the third, and I was able to take him down in maybe 5-6 rounds, something like that. They didn't build their world anymore for 3. They just jacked off in their own success and thought fans would be okay with it. I'm salty about the way From handled 3. I am too, actually. As I said, purely from, like, a lore and storytelling design perspective. Gameplay, absolutely amazing, in my opinion. But I would argue that so much of, like, the retreading of old ground that was present in Dark Souls 3 was solely because people were so upset, or at the very least, a certain portion of the fan base that was exceedingly vocal was upset about the departure from quote-unquote business as usual that the team behind Dark Souls 2 attempted to introduce. And you could say whatever you want, but you will never convince me that a game with the Rat King Covenant is better than a game without the Rat King Covenant. Nugget says she keeps dying because she forgets to bring elevators back up, so I just jump into holes and die. I have done that too many times to count. Valencola's, nobody thought Souls 2 was real Souls. Yeah, a lot of folks didn't. Which is a shame, because I actually liked a lot of the changes that they introduced for Dark Souls 2 and ended up throwing out with the bathwater for Dark Souls 3. Again, you cannot get me to, oh yeah, power stancing! They eliminated power stancing in Dark Souls 3. I forgot about that entirely, but I do miss being able to, like, power stance my enchanted scimitars. That was beautiful. Alright. Well, friends, with that, hold on real quick. I'm actually going to check my skills menu just to see if there's anything I want really quickly. Oh, hey, would you look at this? The ultimate skill for the Shinobi Arts. Unleash a long-range powerful thrust, i.e. Stinger from DMC, then use the impaled opponent as a platform to vault into the skies. Be as an owl on the hunt and return to the skies after stabbing your prey. Spirit emblems are consumed when leaping. It's not too much of a problem. Oh yeah, that looks nice. We might want to work our way around to that one. Nugget says, I like how you've been sitting and talking this whole time. Yeah, that's because I'm actually about to bring the stream to a close. I think this is the perfect, natural end point for today's stream. I've been going for longer than I ever have before. I want to say something like going on 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 20 minutes. And we made a phenomenal amount of progress. Disregard the first hour of the stream. I was able to take down 2 shinobi, cure the dragon rot, which is a phenomenal accomplishment that actually gives me roughly a 1 in 3 chance of retaining my money, now being referred to exclusively as the Gourd Fund until I can afford that seed, after death. And we were able to finally complete the Ashina Outskirts, as well as the Dragon Spring Pilgrimage, memory dungeon. And we are primed to head into Ashina Castle, which I'm sure is going to be loaded with even more tricks and traps for us. And I'm really, really excited to continue venturing on through all of this with you guys. And 3 hours, Brandon? Yeah, actually, we've been sitting here for 3 hours, but keep in mind, about an hour and 10 minutes of that was just Lady Butterfly. And, like, frankly, excessive profanity on my part. That was a third of our time today. Valencola says, I missed Rat Covenant. Yeah, so do I. I mean, I appreciate that they brought a similar mechanic into play for Dark Souls 3 with the Spears of the Church Covenant for the DLC, but I really enjoyed the concept of abducting players from their worlds, trapping them in a dungeon where you serve as the area boss with very low stakes, so neither side is losing something substantial. It's basically just a grudge match for fun. And being able to use the rewards you gain from victories in those battles to further customize your own personal mini-dungeon. I thought that was amazing. And Nugget says, sorry I missed the first hour, I was doing homework. Oh, I missed profanity from you, gosh dang it. Yes, you did. Quite a lot. Don't worry, all of this will be available VOD here on Twitch, as well as over on my YouTube channel, which is currently undergoing some modification as I get rid of, like, some old content from projects that are no longer active. But all of this will be over there for your viewing pleasure, along with some god-awful streams of Kingdom Hearts HD Remix that were recorded before I learned how to do sound balancing on this thing, so you can barely hear me over Donald Duck constantly screaming and dying. But those are also available for everyone's perusal, if it would behoove you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank you all so much for dropping by today. This is the largest and most engaged streaming audience I believe I've ever had in my short time on Twitch, and I want to greatly thank you all for contributing to that. I've had way more fun with this broadcast than I have with any of my past ones, and I attribute all of that to your presence and continual engagement with the stream. So just thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We have so much more to do, and just for the record, I stream extremely irregularly, basically whenever I have time and a relatively silent environment to work in. So expect, I would say, another Sekiro stream either by the end of this week or at the very beginning of the next, or over the weekend, I mean, or at the very beginning of next week. But aside from that, yes, that will conclude the festivities for today. Thank you all so much for dropping by, and again, thank you to our two new participants and followers in chat. It was so great to catch up with a childhood friend here, of all places, on Twitch. It's just made my day. So, thank you both so much. And thank you for the kind words regarding the stream, the both of you. And with that, we will talk to you in the very near future. This is Brady the Overanalyst wishing you, in the old broadcast tradition, love, peace, and soul. Have a wonderful weekend.